Hey guys, welcome to a great lesson in the After Effects course. This is Phil Ebiner from videoschoolonline.com. If you haven't already, check out videoschoolonline.com for lots of free articles, podcasts, videos, and more to help you make better videos. But let's get into our topic tonight, which is lighting in After Effects. After Effects has a lot of different options for adding lights to our compositions, and you can do a lot of things with them. Basically, if you're creating 3D environments, you can light different objects. It's basically like creating a set in virtual reality, or you can just use it to light 2D videos or compositions in interesting ways. So let me show you how to do that. So first I have this image of this rabbit that I photographed in Joshua Tree, California when I was camping there recently. And so I just laid this photo into our composition. Before we add lights, we have to make sure that whatever layers we want affected by the lights are turned on to 3D. So they're 3D layers. So click that cube right there. Then go up to Layer, New, Light. And you'll get this dialog box with the options for the lights, and you can name it whatever you want. And then there's different types of lights: spot, parallel, point, and ambient. Basically, let's start off with the spot, and we'll go through the rest later, but the spot is the main one you're going to be using. Ambient will basically add light to the entire composition at once in an even way, but spot, parallel, and point have some interesting forms of the light. You can change the color of the light, but for now I'm just going to use white light. You can change the intensity, and all these things you can change later. So I'm just going to leave all of these, and we can see what it looks like. So there you have our spotlight. And when you add it, it comes down here to our timeline, and as you probably could guess, you can keyframe any of these options. So the intensity, the color, the angle, all of those things. One thing to notice is this light that is added in our composition. This isn't actually going to be seen in our composition if we export it, but it is there for us to easily edit while editing in After Effects. So we can kind of click this light and move it around. So there is the positioning of it. So this green, blue, and red arrows, these are for positioning it, so you can move it, left, right, along the x-axis, up or down, or with the z-axis, you can move it back further away or closer to our composition. There is also the point of interest. So this is basically where it is pointing, and that's this little blue dot with the line connected to the light. And you can get to that through the transform tools down here. You see this point of interest as well as the position and all the rotation as well. So you can change it that way if you don't want to just click within your composition. Also, let's look at the different things you can do with the light, well, such as cone angle. You can make it wider or more narrow. You can make it more or less feathered. You can change the fall off to be more of a squared or smooth fall off. You can also change the radius of it all, and the fall off distance, and you can turn shadows on. We'll talk about that another time, and these other options have to do with the shadows as well. So the main things you want to look at are the cone angle, which is how wide or big your light is actually, and the cone feathering, and the intensity as well, because you can turn down the intensity if you want. You can even go above 100, which starts to make whatever the image is or the subject of our light, it starts to overexpose it if it goes over 100%. So one cool thing that I like to do is just set up compositions with cool, unique lighting. So let's try to do something like that, and I'll show you some cool lighting setups. So say we just want this bunny on the side of our composition lit up. So we can, put our light up in the middle, up above, and then put the point of interest, right where our rabbit is. And this is pretty cool. Lighting, maybe we want to have text over here on the right or something like that. We can animate the point of interest, so we'll go into the transform tools, we'll set a keyframe right there. That's where we want the light to end up, so we'll move that to about 1 second. Then we'll move it maybe over here so it looks like it's searching at the start of our composition. And then what we're going to do as well as in our light options, we're going to keyframe the intensity. So about halfway through this movement, so at 1 second or half a second, we'll have the intensity be 100%. But at the start, we'll just keep it we'll lower it to 0. So it kind of appears. Now let's render this out and see what this looks like. So there you have it, our light kind of scanning the ground and finding our rabbit. So that's pretty cool. Or if you don't, if you're not necessarily adding lights with motion, you can just have a cool setup. Let's change the intensity to 100. And you just have cool lighting throughout the entire composition. So maybe you want some sort of vignetting. So let's sometimes it helps to decrease the size of your composition. Going over to this 100%, you can make it 50% so you can see more and move the light into more unique places. So maybe we want the light to be coming from below, something like this. And then we can decrease the cone angle. Just play around with it. So, you get the idea. It's, again, something you just have to play around with and figure out what lighting setup you want. I hope you're enjoying these lessons. If you have any questions about the lighting in After Effects, please let me know. But for now, I'm just going to let you play with it. But let me quickly show you the other lights. So we can change this light. So for example, let me just make this a little bit bigger. We'll put this at 100%. And I'm just going to change it to parallel. And so this is basically very wide light. So it has different, this is kind of a different effect than the spotlight. You can choose the point, which is also similar to parallel. It's wider than the spotlight. This one you can change the width by changing the radius. And then you have ambient, which is basically just complete. It affects the entire composition. And it's just for adding, making your composition a little bit brighter. Say you want, one reason you would do this is, say you want the whole thing lit up, but you also want a spotlight on our rabbit. So you want to be able to see everything, but you want the rabbit to be the main thing that you see. Then you can add a second light. We'll shine the spotlight down on our rabbit, something like that. And there, unlike before where we didn't have the ambient light, where it was just the spotlit rabbit, now you can see the rest of the composition, but you can also, the rabbit is highlighted. You can turn down the ambience or not, or turn it up. But of course, you have to be careful because when you're adding multiple lights together, you can get things to parts of your composition to be overexposed. As you can see here, it's getting too bright because it's adding both lights together. So we'll turn that down. So as you can probably tell, there's lots of things you can do with lights, and there's lots to learn, but it really takes playing around with them and just practicing. So get to it and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.